Bertemu kembali. Baru-baru ini, Perdana Menteri telah mengumumkan penubuhan Komuniti Teknologi Kewangan ataupun FINTECH dan di bawah seliaan Suruhanjaya Sekuriti Malaysia SC dikenali sebagai Afinity SC. Dan crowdfunding merupakan salah satu cabang penting yang dikenalpasti dalam memacu sektor teknologi kewangan ini. Dan 6 penyedia crowdfunding telah pun dilantik oleh SC untuk memberikan platform kepada peniaga dan juga pelabur. 2 daripada 6 penyedia ini kini bersama-sama kita di studio bagi membincangkan tentang digital crowdfunding ini, dan mereka adalah Kashminder Singh dari FINTECH in Malaysia dan juga Leo Shimada dari Crowdo. Thank you so much guys for coming to our studio.
Thank you for having us.
Okay, now we've heard crowdfunding and crowdsourcing is actually relatively new in Malaysia, but however globally we've seen that Pebble Watch and also 3D printers have been funded via crowdfunding or crowdsourcing. How do you find the scene is like in Malaysia? Maybe you can start first, Cash?
Sure. Pitching has been around since 2012. We launched our reward-based platform at that time. And reward-based platform is similar to that one that you spoke about, which is like Kickstarter. We find that this is still very early stage. Although we managed to do some exciting projects, we managed to fund a festival of youths. We managed to fund quite an interesting T-shirt project and all that. But yes, the take-up has not been what it has been like in the States. But that's, I think, because it's still very early stage, and I'm sure many of people have still not heard about crowdfunding yet.
Now, what say you? How is the scene is like in ASEAN perspective, from an ASEAN perspective?
I think the ASEAN potential is actually phenomenal, right? Because of the huge issue that crowdfunding is trying to address, and it's really a lot of pent-up demand. You have startups and businesses which are so important for local economies, but their journey is very hard. They go to a bank, they get turned down, right? They go to a venture capital fund, they get turned down. And invariably, they spend months and months on the road, door to door, offline, trying to raise funds, and it's extremely inefficient, right? On the other hand, you have investors in any part of ASEAN who are all facing ultra-low returns, right? So what crowdfunding is really doing is using new technology, internet, social media, to connect these two parties to make a more efficient market. And I think that that story, those points for success are common across all the ASEAN markets.
All right, okay, we've seen that people crowdfunding to actually make movies, innovate skates, skateboards and whatnot. Can you actually crowdfund almost anything and everything under the sun?
Yeah, definitely. Equity crowdfunding, which is the one that's going to come very soon, the one that's been approved by the Securities Commission, that's going to be very exciting because any business that believes that it can make a return can come and look for people to fund them, right? While some businesses will be very exciting, in the beginning, obviously Pitchin would like to see exciting businesses that come on that people can resonate with. In theory, equity crowdfunding is for any business that believes that it can make a return for investors.
I believe so. And frankly, it's up for the market to decide. It's up for the crowd to decide. So we want to transition away from this model where a business needs to go to 1 or 2 people who may or may not understand your technology to a model where a project or a business is published online for many to see. And then the market can decide whether that business is going to be fundable or not.
Okay, let's look at the ASEAN perspective. Okay, we as Asians, it's not our culture to actually give money via digital or via online. It's because we find that, can we trust this site? You know, can we trust this fund and whatnot? So how do you see by SC, the Security Commission in Malaysia, selected 6 of the platforms, including the 2 of the platforms, Crowdo and also Pitch In, as a way to actually gain people trust to actually fund projects and also perhaps can start their business via online?
Yeah, actually, I would like to say that our region, the ASEAN region, is actually one of the most dynamic when it comes to adoption of technology.
Okay.
Right? It's a proven fact that when it comes to smartphones, when it comes to PCs and all that, Malaysians, Asians, Singaporeans, Southeast Asians, we adopt this technology faster than many other parts of the world. So it's fair to say that when equity crowdfunding comes to Malaysia or to Asia, people are going to find that it's not so much of a challenge to understand, mainly because they've been used to living the digital life. So we are quite excited. We think that the ability for people to look and find very exciting businesses, and most importantly, to be able to invest in them at a very early stage will be exciting to Asians, because Asians are known to be very entrepreneurial. They like to support businesses.
Maybe, Leo, you would like to add up to that.
Yeah, look, I'm very optimistic about ASEAN. I'm very optimistic about Malaysia, right? We tend to downplay the potential because these things happen more faster in the US, and we say it's a US story. Then it happens in Europe, and you say it's a Western story. Then you see it happen in China, and you say it's everywhere outside of ASEAN, right? I agree with Cash. I think that, the ASEAN economic story is dynamic, and I think that this is going to flow through to the potential crowdfunding. Now, the regulators play a very important role, and I have to say that the Securities Commission of Malaysia is one of the most progressive, innovative regulators that we've experienced. So we engage with regulators across the region, right? Because they've managed to balance a very competitive policy, which is also going to be protective as well, right? So there's a wide band of businesses which can actually be allowed to list, but at the same time, they allow a wide band of investors to invest based on what their wealth is, how much disposable assets they have, and so on, right? So I think that kind of economy, that kind of dynamics, and also the proactive role that the regulators have played here will set a solid foundation for generating trust so that people can actually be more reassured when they adopt this new technology.
Okay, see, I'm interested to pitch in my project, my business project. If I were to go to Crowdo, if I were to go pitch in, how do I go about it? And if I were an investor, I'm interested, how do I go about it?
Yeah, like Leo says, definitely various systems are in place.
Okay.
The Securities Commission has ensured that the investors' interests are protected, so there are certain due diligences that have to go on. When a company comes and they want to raise money, every platform, pitch in, Crowdo or any other one, they'll have to do certain processes where we will check whether the company is really registered and whether their businesses have gone through what kind of length, and all those regulatory requirements will have to be fulfilled. After that, all these businesses that go past this barrier, then they will prepare what we call, for want of a better word, prospectus, similar to those that are used by public sector company, where they will then create their business case, that they make the case for why investors should invest in them, and we help them to craft a story that will excite and at the same time inform the investors, giving them enough knowledge to make an investment decision.
Okay, on Crowdo part.
Yeah, it's very similar. So if you want to see Crowdo, you come to our website, you come to our mobile app, and this is the first port of call, right? So, for the journey for an entrepreneur or a business owner, it's intentionally made so that it's simpler, better, and faster. It's simpler because we offer templates, so you don't need to think about what a business plan is supposed to look like. We give you templates that you fill out, right? It's better because once you have a project published, you're able to outreach to a mass audience, right? And it's faster because the norm right now for fundraising is somewhere between 6 to 8 months, right? And it's been proven globally that you could do fundraising between 2 to 3 months. It's the same fundamentals for the investor as well. You come to our website, you make a declaration in terms of what type of investor you are, and then you look at the offer information, right? It's a very transparent and diversified process as well. It's transparent because all the critical information is there. And it's diversified because you may be an accountant, which is great at finance. You may be an architect, which knows about design and structural integrity and so on. But what you're able to do is to go out into a website, look at a project, go to the forum, and post questions. It's incumbent on the business owner to address those questions. And it's to the benefit of the mass community of investors looking at that, because you have so many people from different expertise which are posting questions and satisfying your questions as well.
All right, okay. I've a lot of questions to ask you guys, but unfortunately we don't have that much of time. But kalau anda berminat untuk crowdfunding yang melalui digital ini, anda bolehlah pergi ke website mereka di Crowdo ataupun di Page in Malaysia. Thank you so much, Cash. Thank you so much, Leo Shimada, for being in the studio to talk about crowdfunding.